In the following examples, we are asked to evaluate the logarithms that are given. So let's think about this and what exactly a log tells us. Well, a log tells us an exponent, okay? So our question is 3 to what power equals 1/3? Okay, that box there is what we're trying to answer here when we're talking about a logarithm. Okay, so 3 to what power is 1/3? So that's what we're trying to figure out here. And what we're going to do is we're going to think about this for a second and say, okay, how do I go from 3 to 1/3? Well, 3 to the negative 1 happens to be 1 over 3. Because if you think about it, it is 1 over 3 to the first power, which is just 1/3. So the answer for this first one here is going to be negative 1. Okay? So that's the answer for the very first problem there. All right? So now let's take a look at the next one. We have 1/5. So let me write that out. 1/5 to what power equals 5? Okay? So 1/5 to what power equals 5? So I'm actually going to strike this out for a second. And let me think about this. If I have 1/5, okay, give me 1 second. If I have 1/5, what was that? Using the principle that we learned out over here in this area, okay, 1/5 could be considered to be 5 to the negative 1 power, right? Because I know that 5 to the negative 1 is 1/5, right? So what power would I need to raise this to get a positive 5? Well, this would need to be 5 to the first power. And the only thing to do is raise this to the negative 1 power. Yes? Because negative 1 times negative 1 is the first power. And this would give us 5 to the first power. So the answer here, 1/5, would need to get raised to what power? Think about it. It would need to get raised to the negative 1 power as well. So the answer for both of these, coincidentally, of course, is that the answer is negative 1. Okay? So let's do another example. So here's another example. All right, we have 2 to what power? Okay, so let me write that one out. 2 to what power is the square root of 2? All right, so 2 to what power is the square root of 2? Well, in this case, anything to the square root would be the 1/2 power. So the answer here for this problem is the 1/2 power. So there you go. 2 to the 1/2 power would be the square root of 2. Similarly, if it was a cube root, so 2 to what power is the cube root of 2? That would be the 1/3 power. So just something to think about. Some more work with evaluating logs, and this eventually will lead to solving logarithmic equations.